Saturday morning, it's time to talk technology as we kick off the Experts program. And our tech expert, Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joins us right now. Good morning, Luis.
Good morning, Mark. How are you, my friend?
Doing really well. It's a busy weekend all over the Central Coast. Lots going on. In Salinas, the annual Salinas Valley Food and Wine Festival going on today in Old Town Salinas. And I know that Power Talk Radio, and I believe they're supposed to be down there, or at least the iHeart stations might be a part of it this weekend. That's happening, the 100 and 200 blocks of Main Street?
Yeah, 100 and 200 blocks, yep.
Okay, and it seems to get a little bigger every year, and just a great event. And I was down in Old Town Salinas the other day. It looks really good. I mean, there's a lot that's going on down there, new restaurants and businesses, and it looks like a neat place to go for an evening.
Yeah, we enjoy having our office downtown so that our guys can, when they break for lunch, they don't have to get in their cars and drive someplace. They have a lot of options. Some of them just bring their lunch to work, but take the opportunity to walk around the downtown area and get in some steps. And we're part of the Blue Zones program. We're a Blue Zones certified business, so our guys take it to heart and trying to live healthier and happier lives. So downtown has really, really come a long way. And if you haven't been there, I encourage anyone, even if you're from the peninsula, to check out downtown Salinas, because there's a lot happening there.
Great movies, restaurants, everything like that going on. Also this weekend, the Carmel Valley Fiesta is happening in Carmel Valley. That's running at the community park in the village. I'll be there today for the car show, the Fiesta car show that happens every year. Kind of a kickoff to Car Week, which is coming up in about another 7 or 8 days, when it'll be that time of the year in August when all those beautiful cars come from all over, and they'll be on display everywhere. So looking forward to that. Our conversation today, what we're looking forward to talking about, is AI once again. 2024 is turning out to be the year of artificial intelligence and how it's going to manifest itself going forward. David Brooks, who's an opinion columnist with the New York Times, had an interesting take on AI. He's not as convinced that it's going to wholesale replace human activity. What he is talking about, because there's a lot of fears out there, and I think many of them are legitimate, that as AI proliferates, it could end up replacing jobs that people do, and then what do you do with the people? Because this would be a change like no other that's ever happened. But Brooks is talking about people becoming more creative, how you can, I guess, insulate yourself from the negative impact of AI in the workplace. And so he talked about how people are going to be able to focus more on creative aspects of what they can do rather than rote chores, which I think is, most of us understand that. But it's interesting to see somebody who's not in the tech world really kind of getting that and understanding it.
I really enjoyed his article, and I agree with many of the conclusions that he draws, that AI is no doubt going to replace a lot of jobs. It's just like any technology. If you look back to innovations, going back to the invention of the wheel, it took away the job of all those guys that were carrying people on their backs, right? So the reality is that as a person who, either a young person potentially looking toward the future and what kind of jobs will be available, or even if you're in the middle of your career and looking forward and saying, what's going to be available for me in the future, think about the aspects of being a human being that AI isn't going to be able to replace. So, for example, think about empathy. I think there's a great deal of need for folks in the social sciences that help other people deal with stress and depression and other things that AI really can't do much about other than just repeat what it's told to repeat. So those kind of jobs where you can be creative or be curious or have a skill that AI can't replicate, those are the sorts of things that I think will be the new jobs of the future that AI won't be able to replace.
And so that's where, we constantly hear this. It's about what can you do that's value added that a machine can't do or artificial intelligence isn't capable of doing, because artificial intelligence at this point can really only mimic or do what it's been programmed to do. Now, it might have a little more ability to create things, but it's always going to be limited, because I don't think you can really replicate the human brain and everything that goes into the experiences that we live throughout our lives that help us come up with ideas and creative problem solving that are all based upon life experiences. And the AI doesn't have that, and I don't know that it ever will.
It's really hard for AI to create anything new. So it reminds me of a story I read a couple of weeks ago about a organization that picked an AI-created picture as the picture of the year. And I forget the organization or what it was about, but I did remember reading one of the comments where noted artists had looked at the picture and said, it seems so lifeless. Yeah, it's pretty and it's creative in a way, but it it just doesn't look or feel like it's something that a human being would have created. Mm-hmm. And they maybe could have been biased, but the reality is that, you can tell AI, hey, write me a story about a panda driving a car to the store, and it will do that. But you had to actually tell it what to do. Think about that. It didn't come out and say, hey, I'm going to write this story about a panda driving a car to the store. It just waits for somebody to tell it what to do.
As David Brooks mentions in his article, AI can turn out the kind of impersonal bureaucratic prose that's found in corporate communications or academic journals, or maybe even in an installation manual. But if you're a writer, he's talking about people developing the voice, their own voice that is as distinct as those of George Orwell, Joan Didion, Tom Wolfe, and James Baldwin, to name a few, as an example of what AI cannot do that the human brain can do.
I think that the creativity aspect of future jobs will just grow exponentially, because AI will do one thing really well, and that's free us from having to do those mundane, rote tasks that need to be done. And that'll give us time to think. That'll give us time to look at the world differently and have time to enjoy it, as opposed to just working our butts off because we just need the job.
And I think the other thing as well is it's going to change education. The education bureaucracy establishment is going to have to change how they teach to methods that encourage individual creativity in students to prepare them for the world that they're going to be going into, or to a world that they'll enter that doesn't even exist at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're already starting to see that some schools are experimenting with essentially AI tutors. The idea that each student is being individually curated a curriculum tailored to his or her needs without any sort of regard for the other kids in the classroom. And, the time that they're in the classroom is for socialization and for learning with the teacher oversights, but each of their, learning paths is going to be tailored to that particular person's strengths and weaknesses. And that's going to dramatically change the way education works.
Right. All right. That's Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group. Online, it's alvareztg.com. @AlvarezTG is the X handle. And Luis, what's the toll-free number for the I-Team?
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.
All right. And looking ahead to Monday, we're still talking about this interesting stuff, aren't we?
Yeah. We're going to be looking at the Olympics and how technology has always played an important role in the Olympics going back over 100 years. So tune in.
All right. That all starts at 8:30 Monday morning here on Power Talk Radio, 1460 AM and 101.1 FM. Thank you, Luis, and have a great weekend.
You too, my friend. Take care.